All right. So our intention is to come on weekly, perhaps Tuesday morning. We're in the flow. Um, Tuesday morning around this time may be regular for us, but we're just going to begin unpacking things that we're both going through and how it's led to a deeper relationship in ourselves, knowing ourselves better, like really watching my mom's patterns and even my grandmother's patterns. Like I came through your womb. Like my womb came through your womb, and your womb came through grandma's womb. And there's such capacity for understanding and growth in that. And I'm deeply grateful for your openness to be vulnerable, to share, and to explore. And you said something just a minute ago that I really want to highlight that shows why we're together here in this public space. You said that when you retired, you couldn't run away from, or you didn't choose to continue to run away from things that you decided to unpack and break up. And I think most people come to retirement age and it's a whole different story for them. So um, even the whole idea of retirement is really pretty fascinating from the perspective of getting well and staying well naturally and longevity. Like we could go so many places with this, but I'm wondering what's coming through you around retirement.
Well, it's interesting to talk about that word retirement because I didn't retire from life. I didn't retire from who I am. I just stopped going. Well, there's the most obvious thing is I stopped getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, which has been interesting, and we'll probably get into that at some point, but how that affected my life and how that brought up patterns for the whole subject of money and all of that, and addressing those. But it also brought up, well, there's been even the time in the world with COVID and isolation, that how that affected all of us, because all of us for several months or for a year or for however long were retired from what we normally did in our lives. So we kind of all have experienced that kind of retirement. But when I was working, I didn't always address the things I needed to address, and they were more evident without having to worry about jobs and going to work and those kinds of things. And I think it's been, although it always hasn't felt like that, it's been a real blessing, and I'm very grateful for that ability to do that. And it hasn't been, I've been retired for going on 6 years, maybe, well, 6 years. And it's been a process. It doesn't happen overnight. I think that's what I think what I always thought, if you make a decision that it changes, and there's no process here, but everything we do is a process, and giving ourselves permission to be aware of and experience that process is very important, and to find some support in that process. I don't know whether all the time that transitional place I am in my life, whether we talk about that and support one another in that process and how that feels. So retirement, I don't even know whether I like that word. I don't have another word, but I don't know whether I even like that word. I haven't retired from anything. I still breathe. I still do all the things that I did before. Maybe the biggest thing that I'm acknowledging right now is I don't get a paycheck that I got before for work.
So I'm gonna just mute you for a minute, Mom, because I just it sounds like our sound is a little off. So I'm gonna play mute. I'm gonna mute anyway. You don't need to know, but um, so can we? Yeah, you didn't retire. The paycheck part is fascinating, but when it comes to mental health and retirement, that there's so much um, identity wrapped up in employment and or there's so much identity wrapped up in either helping people or people pleasing or whatever the process is of like leaving the house and going out and doing something like that's actually a very masculine sort of thing, but uh but that identity, when that changes, there's a big shift, there's a big change. And you spoke to it well, that it's that when you retired and then we entered into business together, in part, I think, because I presented something that aligned with who you were and what you were doing physically. So maybe we could just talk about that. Like why did you come out of retirement in the sense of working? Like what you're still sharing yourself. You're still contributing to the world, so you didn't really retire from that, but now you get to change how you share yourself with the world if you so choose to, right? So it's a little bit of a reframe.
My choice to do that was that um, I think because the job that I held for 40 years, I was with people every day and communicating with them, all throughout the day. And then um, due to the place that the world was in, and my choice to make a change in my work, um, I need to have relationships. I need to have relationships with my family, and I need to have relationships with my friends and the world. And the thing that was interesting to me, the business that I entered into was very much in alignment and parallel to my thoughts about how we work within our health, whether that be our physical, our emotional, or our mental health, and supporting people in those things, and knowing that we all have choices and we are responsible for making those, and that finding the information we need about making good choices is another thing, but that's another subject. But that's why I chose that. And I know where my journey has gone soon, probably for the last 20 years in my own health, and how that's changed and how that has affected all parts, the balance of who I am. So that's why I made that choice.
Beautiful. So I did get confirmation that our sound is doing okay. Um, I just for those of you, I'm not sure how long we're going to be on. There's going to be like a natural unfolding of this. A little bit, if you're just new to myself or to my mom, a little bit about me. I'm 52. I have my own business called Get Well, Stay Well Naturally. And the essence of what I'm here to unfold for women especially is the intersection between nature and the physical body as nature, and what we can learn and glean and understand from the physical body. And I say that with specific intention because my mom, I believe, has, I came through her for a very important reason, like that my soul chose her. And so that's the premise of these talks together, these generational healing talks, is that if my soul chose this woman, who she can share her age and a little bit more about her, but I chose this woman to come onto the planet through, then I believe that I have an opportunity to learn from her. She has an opportunity to learn from me. And the more we can travel together on this journey in an open and honest way, then the more healing it is for me, and the more healing it is for her, and the more healing it is for our generations that have come before us and the generations that will come after us. And so that's a bit more about my intention here in the truest sense of healing, foundational healing, being in alignment with my purpose here on the planet, and beginning to share a bit more about myself. And this is a big start. So, Mom, where does that lead you? And maybe we can begin to kind of close this episode up, and I look forward to continuing these conversations next week.
My name is Midge Roberts, and I, in last July, turned 75. And I think in the last 30 years of my life have really come to examine and look at that whole process, because I remember at 45 thinking, oh no, my life is half over. And then living that process and, feeling that, well, at 75, it sure feels different than when I felt that at 45. But I'm really grateful for this whole process through becoming an elder and finding value in that, and knowing that some of the things that were expected of me as an elder are not true, and I don't have to believe in those things. That I can move forward, and I can find ways of living my life, the best life that I can live. And part of that is doing things for myself physically. One of the gifts I gave myself for my 75th birthday, I had no intention of doing this, but I had the thing that I loved most in growing, because it started when I was 12, was water skiing. I think we all have things in our lives that we really embrace for ourselves. And I had been thinking for a while, what would it feel like if I could never water ski again? And so decided for my 75th birthday, I was going to water ski. Who knows whether I'll water ski again? It had been 10 years since I water skied in the past, but my intention was to do that, and I did that. So I am grateful for that, and I'm grateful for my resiliency in knowing that that is a possibility if that's what I choose, and sharing that with others in the world, sharing that we can hook arms, support one another, and share our wisdom, whether we're newborn, whether we're two, all the way through the interaction of relationships and people, teach us so much when we can become present and take that in. So that's my purpose in doing this, is that I get a chance to say those things, and I look forward to sharing that and learning for learning so much. It's such a gift and filled with love and blessings and gratitude. So that's where I am.
Beautiful. Thank you. You brought me to tears. Thank you for your eldership. Thank you for having the courage to be live in this way and to share your wisdom with me and with the world. And thank you for being such a rock for me. And we'll wrap this episode up and see each other next week. My daughter always teases me that we talk multiple times a day on the phone, and it's really great to begin to bring some of these conversations out into the world, because I think if you're out there watching, maybe you gleaned something from this conversation that will I trust that will just shift a little something in your life. So much love, Mom. Much love to all of you out there. And we are going to try and stream this through Get Well, Stay Well Naturally, although I have already seen some comments from men. And maybe it's important that we stay a bit more public. So we'll see. And please let us know how this was, what you pulled out of it, what you'd like to, if there's anything coming through that could inform our next couple of sessions, conversations. All right, anything before we part, Mom?
No, I just send lots of love and light out into the world. We sure all need this. So that's all. I look forward to next week.
Yeah, me too. Okay, much love. Bye.
Bye.